Hi everybody, welcome back to Double Team. We haven't been here for some time because stuff happened and life and all of that stuff. But in the meantime,
basically we just didn't manage to meet up.
Yeah,
with stuff
and
going on.
Stuff happened in Belgium, which I'm aware people know of. So it was pretty risky to drive around and all that stuff in transportation. So
then you went abroad, so it's just we're here now.
I went to the UK and all that stuff, and she went home for a week as well. So we're here now, though, and we finished all of the seasonal stuff from last season, from the winter season, and we are going to talk about that. So we're going to discuss which ones we liked and the final impressions and all that kind of stuff. So we watched quite a lot. So this might be a long video again, but I'm pretty sure you guys are used to that by now.
Just to make up for the videos we didn't put out in the meantime. It's fine.
Yeah, exactly. So I am going to start with Erase or Boku dake ga inai machi. And it was one of the most popular ones, and hated and loved both at the same time.
Yeah, especially towards the end. I think most people were really on board with it for the most part.
Yeah, I think so too.
A lot of people really liked it. Mm-hmm. There were some that weren't that satisfied, but in general, I think the reaction was pretty good. And at the end, it was really split.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, I can see its flaws, but I think the show was really good, and I really, really enjoyed it. And I like the whole story thing and the characters, and I don't really have a lot of complaints about this one.
No, me neither. It was actually probably, I think, my favorite of the season.
For me, it wasn't my favorite, but I think it was second or something like that.
I mean, I thought about this for maybe 5 seconds. When we go down the list, I'll say, actually, this one is my favorite.
Yeah.
But I think Erase is definitely up there. I mean, for me, I can see some of the gripes that people have with that, but not to the extreme of suddenly this show is really bad.
Yeah.
I think it never, it was mostly a disappointment for some people at the end because of the mystery part.
Yeah.
And for me, I don't think that show is really about the mystery. It was always about the characters for me and human interaction, human nature, how to deal with some stuff. Mm-hmm. So it was I knew that the mystery itself wouldn't be suddenly, oh, this major twist that's absolutely crazy. Because for me, that wasn't the point of the show, so I didn't really mind that part. I guess people who were in it for the mystery would be a little bit disappointed, but overall, it's still a super high-quality show. The animation is amazing, and there are some scenes that are really well put together, the whole arrangement of where the characters are and the background with the music, which was amazing. So, the whole construction of the show is really, really good.
Yeah, I agree. I really liked it, and I really like the main character as a kid. The difference between that they've done that really well, and that props to that voice actor as well.
For sure.
That was really good. I enjoyed the show. I have no complaints. I can see why people are salty because some people can't take it that this one is popular, but it's good. It is a good short mystery show with good characters.
I never thought we'd get to the end of the season and saying you liked the Erase would be controversial.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I don't know. I guess I don't know. I guess other people maybe want another show to be more popular than this one.
I guess, but it's always like that. Yeah. I don't know. I'm just gonna say I like the show, and
same.
And that's it. There's nothing wrong with liking shows.
No, for sure. So yeah. Do you have a next one you want to talk about?
I mean, we can just go to a complete different direction and talk about. There are 2 shorts that we watched.
Right.
And the first one is Sekkou Boys.
Yeah.
What did you think about Sekkou
I love
Boys?
it.
It's so funny. It's funny in a really weird way.
Yeah. I thought it would be watching the first few episodes, I thought it would be oh no, it's going to be the same over and over again. But they actually focused on the girl, and I was oh my god, this is great.
I actually really hadn't planned to watch it, and then I watched the first episode, and I was I kind of need to. Because it's that sort of weird show that if you've watched anime for long enough, it's a type of comedy that's really, really particular. I think it's a show that if you're really new to the genre, you're not going to enjoy or understand.
Yeah, maybe.
But because it's that type of, there are statues who are idols, which first of all require you to be okay with the concept of this is a fucking weird show. And then the fact that you need to have some background in what like idol shows are supposed to be like,
idol
to
shows and
enjoy the
fishes.
parody of it.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think it's probably a very niche show, but it was my niche. So for me, it was really funny. I was always like, I have like, this is really, really silly, but I want to watch more. It was the perfect size too.
Yeah, that's true. Who was your favorite bust?
It sounds like you're asking me about boobs.
I'm asking important questions right here.
I think Mars.
Yes, me too.
Just because it plays so well with the stereotypical, or I guess just the cliche of the guy who's like super intense. The other ones were funny, and their interactions are funny, but by themselves I would be like, I don't really care for Hermes or stuff like that. But it worked well as a group.
True.
And he was the one that looked like more typical idol.
Yeah, that's
thing.
true.
Like, we got this guy because this guy is gonna be the intense one.
Yeah. He's gonna be the one with the scandal on TV and all that kind of stuff, and it was cool. I really like Mars. Also because it's Daisuke Ono, and I
knew you were gonna say that.
I was already like kind of sure that he would do a good job because it's comedy and it's something ridiculous, and I know how he can overreact well when it comes to like acting. So I was really looking forward to that already. So I think he did a really good job, and all of the voice actors, like they were all pretty popular, which I was surprised about. And then I was like, okay, they're doing this show.
And
that's
most of the characters were really, really quirky, and it's a thing that for me, I'm very 50-50 on quirks. Usually if it's like a long show that's supposed to be serious or have like a plot line, I'm really not a big fan of just gimmicks in characters, because I feel like it makes them like really one-dimensional. It's like, oh, this is the character that loves glasses, and that's it.
Right.
But in small comedy shows, it really works.
Yeah,
so in this one, even like the side characters, you had that dude that only showed up maybe twice that sang traditional Japanese music. So whenever he talked, he sang in that voice. I'm totally okay with this. So for me, it was like just the perfect amount and the perfect size. And it was really enjoyable.
I agree.
I also like the fact that Hermes always had like either a straw or just food all over his face.
It's so random. I like how they tried to show them emotions with like stupid, like pink.
Or just whenever they had the bus, like really depressed, just face palming on the floor. That was great.
Oh, or like the typical teardrop that they do. I liked it. It was good.
Yeah, it was really interesting.
Right.
I'm really glad that I ended up watching that one. It's always fun.
It's a Bishi show you need to watch. Should I do a short one next? Because I think
there's another short one.
I watched 2 more.
Oh, okay, go for it.
Because I watched Ooyasan.
Is that the guy that...
It's the girl that is a landlord.
Oh, okay.
And
that's
the guy
not the one
moves in. But that one, I have to be honest, it wasn't anything really special. It was just like comedy, but like slapstick comedy kind of show. It was fine. It was only 4 minutes and the opening was a minute, so I was like, I'm not getting much out of this. So it was alright. I'm not gonna say too much about this one. I'm not gonna say it was super bad.
I thought you were gonna talk about the one with the marshmallows.
I didn't watch that one.
I tried watching a little bit. I watched, I think, the first episode. I'm not even sure if I put it on my list. I was like, I really don't, like, I see the appeal, but it's not a thing that I want right now in my life.
I heard some people checked it out and they said it was alright.
Yeah. I felt like it was alright. Yeah, I just wasn't looking for that sort of stuff.
Right.
Okay, so the other short that we both watched and that didn't really start at the beginning, it's like an ONA or something like that, whatever it was published like, is She and Her Cat, or Kanojo to Kanojo no Neko.
So good.
It's so good, and it's really interesting. I have a really weird relationship with that show because I watched the original like ages ago.
Oh, okay.
And the original is a Shinkai movie, so like 5 centimeters per second.
Oh,
that
okay.
sort of stuff.
I didn't know
but
that.
It's his first individual work that he made, and it was just one, I guess, like 5-minute thing.
Oh, okay.
So it plays out very differently, even though the basis is the same. So for me, it was really nice to see to have a different version.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, I think I like this one more for several reasons. I've been thinking about this, and maybe I will make a video, maybe not. We'll see.
Yeah, you
But
should.
I really like it. I mean, it's about cats.
I know.
It's about a cat and the owner, and the cat seeing the owner go through like coming of age and young adult life and stuff.
Yeah. It was really enjoyable. When I saw it, everyone was like, you should watch this with our cats. And I'm like, yeah, I'm going to. And when I watched it, I was like, okay, this is my anime of the season.
It's really, really sweet.
Yeah, it's sweet and sad and lots of feels in general. And it's nice. It's just really nice to see.
And it's short. It's like 4 episodes of 7 minutes.
I think so. Yeah.
Something like that. So it's just like a very heartwarming piece that you can watch and then you're done with it. It's not like you don't have to invest a lot of time, but you get a lot out of it, I think.
Yeah, I think so too. I agree, especially like the connection between humans and like pets and all that stuff, and it's cute. It's like cute overload. So
yeah, it's really nice. I guess for me and for you maybe as well, it's a really good time for us to watch it because we're in our early 20s stage, so there's a lot of stuff going on that we're like, yeah, I can understand this stage of the life. Yeah. Whereas maybe when I watched it first with the original, I was, I don't know, maybe 16 or something.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And I liked it, but it didn't resonate the same way.
Was it also with the same main character, the girl?
It's a girl and the cat, but like the way that it plays out is completely different because it's mostly still frames and black and white, and the girl doesn't have a voice actor. It's literally just imagine if you had this one, but it's just the cat's point of view. Oh, so you actually don't know what's going on the outside. And that's actually one of my favorite things about the original is that you get the pure like unreliable narration from the point of view of a cat that doesn't really understand everything.
Okay. I actually have another short that I watched. Yeah. So the other short was Oshiete Galko-chan that I watched. And this one is typical for girls because it's about a girl who looks perfect. She has big boobs, she has blonde hair, she's a popular girl in class. But she has these nerdy friends that are really cool and really fun. And it's about them talking the whole time, hanging out, and they're talking about boys, they're talking about falling in love, they're talking about boobs, they're talking about menstruation, like everything girly they talk about, and they kind of like give their own point of view. And it's really funny and interesting to watch, actually, because I thought this one would be like this spoiled girl. It looked like that. She looked like spoiled and like popular, and that was gonna be it.
That completely slid on my radar.
Yeah, that one.
I didn't even know it existed.
I only checked it out because it was on Crunchyroll, and I was like, okay, I can actually watch this one. So I checked the first episode out, and I was like, oh, this is pretty good. So I think it was actually 10 minutes or something like that. It wasn't as short as the other ones, which was good. But I actually enjoyed this one. This one surprised me this season for sure. But when it comes to shorts, I still enjoy the cat one most, obviously. So, but this one would probably be my... No, Sekkou Boy. Sekkou Boy is my second short.
Alright, so I guess we can just talk about Prince of Stride now, because we both watch it. Did you finish it too?
Yeah, I did.
What did you think about it?
I liked it. I do have to say, maybe the ending was a little bit rushed. But it was okay. Like, I didn't mind. I liked all of the characters. I did wish we saw more of the guy with the long pink white hair that came into the team later on.
That was just gray hair. The pink hair was the other team's.
All right. But yeah, there was like a pink shine on it. So I'm just going to say white hair then. But yeah, that guy that got into the team later. I really, really liked him, and I just wanted to get to know him a bit better, but we didn't really get a lot of development for him.
Too. But I completely agree. I think, like, I like him because I like the type.
Yeah.
It's like the mysterious guy that doesn't really talk a lot about the past and stuff that happened.
But he still helps, and he still supports everyone. So.
Takes one for the team.
Yeah, that was nice to see. I think like when it comes to the ending, we kind of all saw it coming what would happen.
Well, of course.
But the way how they handled the ending was weird.
Well, it was really weird because they didn't actually finish the match.
No.
And then they fast forward to like
a magazine.
Yeah, whatever. And they just like had normal school life scenes again. And like the very last shot of the image is the magazine in which it says they won. And I'm like, I mean, I knew they had won. It's a sports anime. Kinda. But
everyone wanted to see them be excited because of they winning and stuff, and I wanted to see the reaction of the girl's father because he was on the other team.
That was like, you didn't really get that relationship.
No, because
it was just
he was there.
It's the dad.
Yeah.
Okay. They haven't seen each other forever, and she didn't know he did stride, but now it's totally okay, and they're on opposite teams, but they just don't talk.
Yeah, but he's worse dad, because I don't get him.
But she also doesn't really care that much.
Yeah, she doesn't care.
It's just weird.
Honestly, I wouldn't care either if you didn't, like, contact me for, like, years, and then it's like,
I guess
I'm against you.
I would care in the negative side.
Mm-hmm.
I would be like,
that way,
you never give a shit about me. And she just, like, literally didn't have no feelings about it.
Yeah, she was, like, confused, and that was kind of it.
And then she was like, but we're doing strides.
So we have to win. Yeah, that's true. Like, there's some flaws in the show that I was like, this is weird.
I have several complaints, but I still overall enjoyed it.
Yeah, me too.
I don't think that it's a show that I would recommend as a sports anime.
No, same. Well, I mean, I like the sports bit a lot for this one, because Madhouse did a really good job on it. For me personally, but I did miss the feeling that I have with Haikyuu and Kuroko and stuff. Like, I didn't have that
was
feeling.
my problem. It wasn't, I mean, there were some bits that I think the animation really was subpar for Madhouse. I was expecting a lot better. But even so, the biggest problem was that most of the time I didn't get hyped about the sports parts.
Yeah.
And I know that's like totally subjective, and some people got really excited about it and some people didn't. But for me, it just didn't get me invested in the matches themselves.
Right. Okay.
We didn't get enough out of them, and like it wasn't enough time, and there wasn't enough like actual moments in which, besides the relay part, like you had no tense actual moments that made you go like, oh, they're not gonna make it, and then they make it. You know. And I think one big factor also was that there was that really lame insert song that started playing every time they did the connection. And like, for me, it was really jarring because the soundtrack usually was like pretty, I mean, it was good, but it was pretty discreet. And then it went silent and they relayed and you get that dude just singing every single time. And I'm like,
I don't mind. I actually like that, so.
I liked it the first 2 times.
Yeah.
And at like 5th time that happened, I was like, no.
I have to be honest, like, maybe it would annoy me if I watched it, like, if I marathoned it. Yeah. Because I did watch it
I did watch a lot of it, like, straight up.
Yeah. So maybe that's why. I'm not too sure. But yeah. I think it was good, but I would agree that they didn't have enough time, and 24 episodes would have been better in the way to have, like, development for some characters. Because they did focus a lot on Riku Yagami or Yamagi or whatever his name is and the black-haired dude. They focused the most on them, but which is fine. But still, sometimes it felt like them just giving us those scenes to get some drama into it. Yeah. And it was fixed as soon as possible as well. So sometimes I was like, why did they do this?
It felt really artificial in that way, and that's I think one of my problems with the show is that it tries to be more like Free than something like Kuroko.
True, yeah.
It's more that type of thing in which there is a sports involved, but that's supposed to be the background for the characters and not like, it wasn't all about the championship or all about like a big competition and them overcoming that. It was more them overcoming their own like problems and creating better relationships and connecting through stride and that sort of stuff. And I think Free does it 10 times better.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
So for me, like, Prince of Stride is fun, but it doesn't feel like something that you need to watch, because if you've watched Free, then you're not gonna, like, you got the best one.
Yeah, that's true, you know? Yeah, I would agree on that. But yeah, I enjoyed it. It was good. So yeah.
I knew we weren't gonna get that much out of the girl either, but it was still sad. Because I was so happy that she actually, like, was part of the team. I knew that she wasn't going to be the main character at all,
Yeah.
but I was like, she is actually a core element of the team and not just like a manager or something like that, and she's really important.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah.
Yep. So that
But it was fun. If you want to watch pretty guys run, you can watch pretty guys run and it'll be fine.
Yep. Well, since we're talking about sports, we can talk about Haikyuu second season.
Yes! It was so good. It was like even better than the first season.
You think so?
Yeah.
I think so too because Oikawa, but
no, I think so in general.
Because Oikawa was
for me. Like the matches themselves and like just the whole training aspect of it was really well done. Well paced. There
was more hype and there was more drama with Kageyama and Hinata as well, which I actually enjoyed. I thought when they were going into that whole thing with them kind of like fighting, I was like, I hope this drama doesn't, I don't know, it doesn't go too long or something in the series, but it was alright and I actually enjoyed it, and I liked the development they got out of it and how they got stronger and just the whole team working and more developing other characters that we hadn't seen more in the first season. That was good. It was really nice.
That's definitely one of my favorite things for sure about Haikyuu is the fact that you get some realism, if you can call it that, in the character progression in terms of sports. Yeah. So, of course, you have the main characters that have like that crazy move, but you still get them having to practice the rest. And more than that, you have all of the other characters that go from point A to point B through training. And everybody gets their own role. And it's like, this guy was always kind of good at serving. So throughout this time, he managed to do this specific serve a lot better. And now he's the pinch server. And you have like... or like Nishinoya spent the whole camp trying to do the whole like set to the side from the back, and now he can. So like every other character also got new skills, but that were also not like we have a superpower. It's just a normal thing that if you're training for a long time in the sports, you see differences, and I think they show differences for all other characters. It made all of them feel like they had their own like importance in the team and they needed to be there. So especially in the latest matches, I was really, really happy because you had a lot of team plays rather than this is a play to show off our best players. Yeah. All of them scored and all of them had moments in which you went like, yes!
Yeah, that's true.
So that's like my favorite thing about Haikyuu.
I agree with that. And I also have to say like the rival teams from this time that were really good. Because like first season was like Oikawa, his team, because everyone got hyped about that. Then you come back in the second season, I was really hyped about it. But the other ones were really nice as well. And I really enjoyed that. The
you
conversations
have a lot of different teams.
They were really entertaining.
Yeah. And it's most of them you get that really healthy rivalry and not like these teams have been the champions the whole time and they are dicks. It's not like about that.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I really, really enjoyed the second season. For me, it was the first season was really good, but there were some times in which I was like, this is just about Choyu and Kageyama, or this is just like going that specific direction. And now I got a lot more out of the rest of Haikyuu.
I agree.
I still have a problem with their treatment of female characters. I think they're basically either non-existent or irrelevant.
I guess, but since in the second season the little girl showed up as well.
Yeah, but she's there because they wanted someone there.
Yeah, like,
it's not like she actually makes a big difference.
No, because she's still learning as well, so it's like... Yeah.
So they're total bystanders the entire time. Unless like they decide now we need to make them look cool for 5 seconds and have like the oldest one protecting her or something like that. But they actually like don't get any airtime that's really relevant and they don't get character progression. Yeah. The little one gets character progression in the first like 5 episodes when she's introduced, but then she's just there.
Yeah, that's true.
And they always had that problem with Haikyuu. So,
I guess.
But you can't have everything, and the rest is like perfect.
It is. It's really good. Yeah.
What
Next
else? I mean, we're talking about season 2, so Shirayuki season 2?
Yeah, it's ended. I'm so sad. I didn't want it to end.
I want more. It was so cute.
Yeah, it was so cute though, the ending. It was really nice.
Yeah.
I was really satisfied, I have to be honest. Like, I was
Me
satisfied
too.
with how it ended.
I think it was really, really nice. And it was really well paced, so it didn't... It just felt pretty natural. I mean, it's still a shoujo, of course, not like a real depiction of real romance and stuff. But it was really...
It was chill. It
did
it.
Yes. It was really fun. And it had some tense moments, and it had some funny moments. And...
Yep. This season, I really like this season. I'm not sure if I like it more than the first one, but I just like the progression of Shirayuki, her actually striving for her goal and going for it. And
for me, I think I would place them in the same level, mostly because for me it feels like a whole show.
Yeah, true.
But also because there are some things that I like less about this season and some that I like more. So I guess it kind of evens it out.
Yeah. But yeah, I really liked it because it started off with a bang and being in danger and being like, oh my god, what's gonna happen? It was really exciting. And then afterwards, it was kind of like chill again and having more romance and stuff and connection and funny moments.
I loved the side characters just shown this season. I mean, I love Shirayuki and Zen, especially when they're together. It's just adorable. But Obi is amazing. And he always was amazing, but now we got more out of him. And I mean, he's just the broest of bros. But he's also super sassy, and I always love that. I love that in characters in general.
Yeah.
And Kiki just suddenly were like, I like that. I like her. She's great.
Yeah. They definitely had more time and
Kiki in general is just so funny. She always looks serious, but she's just...
Yeah. The guy with the green hair, I always forget his name.
Now I won't remember.
Yeah. But that guy had a really funny episode in the last few episodes that I really enjoyed.
That was great.
And I was like, oh my god, I love this guy.
And him and Kiki ship.
Yeah,
totally
for sure. Her reaction was priceless.
She's so funny all the time. I love her. I want to be like her when I grow up. She's the best.
Oh, she's badass. She's nice. Oh. But really enjoyed the second season. Sad that it's done.
I do feel like there's a lot of moments in the second season in which Shirayuki is the damsel in distress. It was kind of just she did get development. I'm not saying she didn't, or that she doesn't have her own agency or way to decide what she wants to do and etc. And she does have that, but it seemed like whenever they needed something to trigger development, it was always her being captured or kidnapped or something like that. And I think that's my only problem with this season, but the rest was just, and all of the characters, they're all precious. I love it so much.
Yeah. I mean, I don't really mind about her being a damsel in distress, but because she kind of tries to fight it. It's not like she's like, oh,
yeah,
okay,
I just
I'm
wish
captured.
It wasn't always it's not like I mind
it's
if
a
they do
typical
it once.
thing,
It's just, that happened in the first season, that happened a couple times this season, and I'm like, you can just try to write something else.
Yeah.
That was it. But I mean, it's a really minor complaint in an overall amazing show. That's just gorgeous.
It was really good. Definitely one of my favorite shoujo since it started. Because the characters were just so lovely. Right. So, the next one I have is, I don't think you've watched this one, Shoujo-tachi wa kouya wo mezasu.
No.
It was the Beyond the Wasteland, I think was the English title. It was the anime that looked like Saikano, basically, from a few seasons ago. Also, of a group of friends having a club at school and making a video game. I'm just gonna say this short, I like Saikano better. I think the characters in Saikano are more funny and more developed in a way. In this show, it was fun to watch, but sometimes I got boring watching it, and sometimes it felt like a chore having to watch it weekly. So for this one, I don't want a second season. How they ended it, it was fine. I don't have any major problems with the show either. It's just, I guess it wasn't my level of comedy and my level of how they made the game and all that stuff, and them explaining it. It was fine. Characters were fine. The show was fine.
Fine show.
Yeah, the show is fine.
Best review. No, honestly, like, it's basically what you said for me. I just didn't watch it because I didn't want another Sekkou.
Yeah.
And Sekkou did it pretty well, even though it's not my type of show, and probably I would have never watched it if people weren't talking about it so much. But I don't want it to be like a recipe now that we get every season. There's a group of people making a game or an eroge or writing a visual novel. I'm like...
Yeah, there's too much.
Yeah. It's just... I don't want it to become the new people trapped in a game thing.
Yeah, exactly.
It doesn't mean there aren't good ones out there about it. It's just, don't do it every season.
Yep.
So that's why I didn't watch it. But I'm glad I didn't miss out on something amazing. Because I watched Sekkou, so I think that's enough.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so then I guess I'll talk a very little bit about Bubuki Buranki because you didn't watch it as well. So... Bubuki Buranki, much like half of the show in which they're on a train, was a massive train wreck. The pacing is terrible. There are very good ideas in the first couple episodes. It's just the pacing is so bad.
Oh.
And I don't even know what to say about it. It is a shame.
Okay.
It will never be my favorite show, I don't think, because I don't like the type of animation. And it's like just weird CG things.
Right, okay.
But I mean, that's fine, and I could put up with it if the show was really worth it. And after the first episode, I remember I was really excited because I hadn't planned to be excited about it, and the first episode was really good. And I mean, it was still really rushed. The first 2 episodes were really rushed. But then just the pacing after that was really, really bad. And specifically with the character development, the pacing was terrible. It was just we hate each other, and 10 minutes later, we have got over all of this. And
I hate it when they do that, yeah.
It will always be fine. Because, I mean, I guess one of the ways to summarize it is that the main group kind of becomes like a Power Ranger thing.
Okay.
It really doesn't, but the way that the Bubukis work is that they're titans, and each of them is like the arm or the leg etc. and the heart. So whenever it actually works out, they kind of are in a Power Ranger space in which each of them is one part of the thing. Yeah. So they're supposed to work as a team and have that connection thing.
Right. Okay.
And the characters didn't have the time or the situations to actually be a team with good trust or to understand each other, just basically. Right. So they just skipped all of that. They were they are fine now.
Okay.
And for me, that's kind of really hard to accept. And then you did get some really interesting villains in a way, or I guess at some point you kind of can call them anti-heroes, because it's kind of. When you learn more about them, you kind of are maybe they aren't villains per se, they just had to be the bad guys. But then they were well, we kind of rushed this whole thing, and they kind of already had most of the fights, so let's just introduce teams from other countries all of a sudden, just... This is the Russian Bubuki, and this is the American Bubuki with the really dumb guy, because that's what we think about America. Oh. And then, suddenly it was all of these characters that came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
I don't know, it just kept throwing things at you without context or proper integration in the whole story. Oh, and it's not finished at all. The second season is already confirmed.
Oh, okay.
It's just... finished we need more time because this is not done. It didn't actually have a proper ending. It's so annoying because it could have been good. And another thing that's really annoying to me, and I need to talk about this because nobody is talking about this, is that in the first episode you have the main character, which is a guy, it's Azuma. When he was a kid, you have the parents and you have the sister. And the sister is not either shown or talked about for the entire 12 episodes of the show until the very finale, in which they show her kind of foreshadowing thing. And I'm how did you not talk about an element of your family that has vanished for 10 years and you ignore it for the entire show? You never have anyone acknowledge that person exists. it's like, it feels like they forgot that in the first episode there was a girl there, you know?
Yeah.
Like, nobody talks about it. When he's reunited with his family, nobody talks about the sister. It's like, that person isn't a thing. Yeah. And then at the end, they're like, oh no, we didn't forget. Here is she just looking all nice and cool. And next season, you'll know, maybe. If we, like, get our shit together. Maybe you won't understand anything. It doesn't really matter. We go to second season.
Okay. Are you gonna watch the second season?
I don't think so. Yeah. Honestly, like, I'm more and more prone not to watch second seasons of stuff that disappointed me.
Yeah, I get that.
Before I always did, because I felt like I had to finish it.
Yeah.
And now I'm like, I did that for the next season. I'm doing that with Concrete Revolution.
Oh, I'm
not gonna watch the second season.
I'm not gonna watch it either.
And unless someone says after watching it that it fixes it or it makes it that much better, that I should watch it. But I'm not gonna watch it just because. Because right now I have zero interest in knowing what goes on after that. So, yeah. Okay. I'm not gonna watch more Bubuki Buranki, and I'm just really sad.
Right. I think the other one we can talk about that we both liked, as I mentioned, W.
Yes.
So, Ono daisuki. But
yeah, I mean, let's get that out of the way. Mabuchi Kyome is husbando, and he's been officially added to the harem since like episode 2 or 3. So
he was pretty great. I like the show. It was nice. It was interesting actually with the whole energy thing, like how they did that. I do feel like the ending was a bit rushed, like the whole fighting stuff, and I was like, okay, what's going on?
Yeah, the final like 2 episodes were really messed up.
Yes.
As much as I love it.
Yeah, same. Like, I was kind of disappointed by that, but then again, it was still entertaining enough.
Yeah.
But it was just like, here, have all of this development for the main character in the last few episodes. It's like,
it wasn't just that, it was like, I really love sci-fi, and I was really happy that we got something sci-fi related, but they waited too long to try and explain the actual science behind the thing. In the last few episodes, it was like, it will be fine if we use a lot of complicated words just at once, it will kind of make sense. And everybody was like, this doesn't work. So that was really, for me, it was like the major disappointment with the show, is that I really like the whole concept of the world, and I'm sad they didn't work at it hard enough to make it, I mean, functional, I guess. It was just like, shit, we forgot this, we need to make an explanation on the spot.
Yeah, it kind of felt like that, but I still enjoyed it because the characters were pretty entertaining.
Yeah.
The ones that came afterwards, like the little guy and the prince. I like those a lot, actually.
I like that too.
I like that we actually got a background story about them as well, and that the little kid briefly showed up before it all happened as well, so he wasn't there like, oh, hello, like, I'm here. So, that was well done. And I like the robot girl. I forget her name every time.
Mira.
Yeah.
Just too much came together at the very end of the show, and it made it feel really weak at that point. Yeah. I think, but I still really like the world, the characters for sure. I like Kyoma so much. And even the other characters in general, I tend to like them. I guess most of the side characters, I don't really have a preference. I'm like, they're okay, but I also don't have that strong of feeling. Yeah. But the main characters for sure, even like the fat lady that gave them the mission, was really good, that sort of thing. And the animation was great. I mean, it was great, I got so hyped just to see them at all. Yeah. It's just really nice. And the opening, best opening. Oh, it was so good.
One of the best openings. I love it. Pretty sure.
The ending is also really good.
Yep. True.
So I guess, I mean, if you like sci-fi and you don't mind overlooking the fact that some of it is just quack, just it will still be a good show.
True. Yeah.
So, and we don't get that much sci-fi. Like, for sci-fi nerds, anime is not a good
medium,
that's
so true.
You just have to take what you get.
Yeah.
Okay, so I guess. What else we have to talk about? Dagashi Kashi you didn't watch.
I didn't watch. But I've heard really good things about when it comes to the comedy. So
yeah, it is funny. Again, I think it's a very niche type of comedy.
Okay.
It's not just like a normal comedy show that everybody will enjoy. It survives a lot based on just, I guess, unintended sexual innuendos and jokes with like the candy and stuff. But it's also not like, it's not the type that it's in your face, like, we're just gonna make sex jokes. Yeah. And have, like, the girl look really weird when she's eating candy. It's not just based around on that. It's mostly based on her delusions around candy and her just, like, talking for 5 minutes about this whole made-up story in which this candy specifically was, like, a cowboy-style thing. that sort of thing. So sometimes it gets really, really funny. Sometimes not as much. Usually there are 2 stories per episode. So honestly, I feel like it should have been a short.
Oh, okay.
Because for the type of comedy that it is, 20 minutes is very long. And if they just split it in the middle and just have 1 story per episode, that would probably make it much more enjoyable for a lot more people too. But in general, it was pretty good. It was weird.
It was weird.
It was weird. If you really get bored, if people are just talking about candy, then maybe it's not for you, because there's a lot of that. Because it's about candy, Japanese candy specifically. If you can, like, get into that, you might learn a little bit about specific Japanese weird things and candy that they have, like this tiny one with a hole in the middle that you can use as a whistle that kids really like, and it's marketed at kids. So you have some interesting facts. Yeah. Just, I guess it's not something that I would recommend for everybody. It's kind of like, check it out and see what you feel like. Do not marathon it. No. It's not a good idea.
You get bored?
Yeah, because it gets old, I think.
Yeah, because it's the same comedy.
Yeah, it's the same kind of routine. But it's okay, and I enjoyed it more than I thought. Sometimes it was really amusing I think it shouldn't be as amusing as it is, but sometimes it really was.
That's good, I mean.
And sometimes they had, like, some references to other things, or just, like, really out of the blue, like, there was a giant gummy thing and she uses it like a kung fu weapon and stuff like that. You have really silly things going on. But it's really funny sometimes. And other times not as much. It's kind of hit or miss. But it's fine. It is a fine show. And I pretty much enjoyed the entire time.
Okay.
So next time do shorts with that sort of stuff. Don't just piece stories together and call it an episode.
I'm gonna say with comedy. I finished Osomatsu-san, which was so good. It was just comedy. It is, I have to be honest, the first episode hooked me right away, but then it was kind of changed. I loved the first episode,
and I watched the second, and I was like...
That was completely different. Yeah. That's the thing with Osomatsu-san. I feel like they, like, even in the other episodes, they have a lot of episodes that are, like, super funny, and then they will have one episode that is more a bit, like, less funny, I guess, and maybe they sometimes parody stuff that I don't get, so that happens as well in this show. So you might have to, like, look up stuff, or maybe if you're lucky enough, like, Crunchyroll will tell you what it is about. But overall, I actually enjoyed it, and I have to be honest, I liked it more and more towards the end. Like, I feel like the episodes got better and better. The first episode was definitely the best episode because I had all of the references of every anime.
The first episode.
And the animation was, like, new, and then the second episode was the original animation, I guess you could call, like, from the original show that was from the 80s, I think. So it had that kind of animation, which I don't mind, but, like, the first episode was just came in with a bang, and you were like, it was all over the place, and you were like, wow.
Yeah, that was it for me. Like, I watched the first episode, and I felt like that encompassed everything that I would get out of that show, because that was, like, what I wanted, and I don't think anything that would follow that episode would be as good, so for me, like...
True.
That was enough.
And even that episode got taken down, so if you want to watch it now, you can.
Oh, no.
So,
why?
Because of... the parodies, they got copyright on it. So, and I think some stuff was also, like, over the top, so they couldn't actually show it to people.
Oh.
From the stuff that happened in the episode. So, yeah.
Oh.
So it's not on Crunchyroll anymore, the first episode. They are going to make a new first episode. So I'm not sure if they will do kind of the same thing and kind of like make it suitable for people.
I mean, I gotta be honest, a lot of the references in the first episode were very close to just plain taking it from a different show.
Yeah.
Like, so I understand that it might have gotten copyrighted, but it's just so sad.
Yeah, it is.
It's such a good episode.
It was. So yeah, I enjoyed the show. It was a good gag comedy show.
I think I only have one more on my list.
Okay.
Which is Durarara, the final core of the second season.
Oh, I want to see it.
I mean, I really like Durarara. I've talked about this time and time again, and I usually list Durarara as my favorite, the original as my favorite show, or one of my favorites when people ask, because I hate replying to that question.
Yeah.
But, I mean, essentially it was still Durarara. I think the second season, I need to rewatch it instead of in course to understand some of the things that were going on. Yeah. But I still feel like it was a lot more messy and confusing than the original. But it still had all of the characters that you know and love, and really interesting and crazy things going on. And I'm totally okay with it. I just don't know what the fuck was going on for like 70% of the time.
That's why I haven't finished it yet. Because like I watched core by core and marathoned all of it the whole time. And like I noticed marathoning the second part. I was like, oh right, this happened. I remembered this and this. And I could connect everything. And now I can't wait to actually marathon the last part. And then I know like everything. And I might understand it better. And it helps if you just watch the last episode of the previous season. I
think that I understand better what happened in the original in general.
Yeah.
I think that even the first time that I watched it, and bear in mind that I watched both while airing, so it's not like I marathoned the first one and this one I didn't.
Yeah.
I feel like I could keep track of what was going on better in the different timelines before they came together. And in this one, I was like, I don't remember how this thing worked.
I guess it's also because
there were so many.
Yeah, I was just gonna say new characters, and there were already so many characters
in this season. So it was really hard to keep track. But if you like Durarara, which I'm supposing you do if you're considering watching the second part of it, it's more Durarara. It's just the crazy, over the top, urban fantasy kind of thing, and I really like it. So it was still good. But I still need to rewatch it sometime to understand.
Yeah. I'm definitely gonna watch the third part soon. So I have 1, 2, 3 more that I watched. So I'm gonna go over that. I'm gonna start with my favorite of the season, which was Shouwa genroku raku shinjuu. And that was the only...
I know people that will be really happy that you're saying this in the episode.
This was like the only yosei kind of anime this season, and it was so good. It surprised me so much, especially the characters and how the story was told. And there's a second season announced, and I'm so excited for it. It's really good. It's if you want something historical, kind of, and there's comedy in there, but people might misunderstand it as a comedy anime. It's not a comedy anime. They're talking about rakugo, which is a form of comedy that they perform. And it's about 2 guys actually doing that as their job and how they go through life with that. And there's a lot of tragic stuff that is happening in there as well that you might not expect either. Like, when I was starting this show, I didn't know what to expect. I thought it would be funny because of the whole comedy thing that they would do. But most of the times it was just a lot of feels that you had from the show and just being surprised about how good it is. So, I can't say more without spoiling stuff. Yeah. I just want people to check this one out because it was really underrated and it's really good. It just, every week I was like, oh, I want to know what's going to happen.
Yeah, so, I definitely plan on watching it.
Yeah, because, I mean, it's a good thing that there's a second season. I'm going to say, like, I didn't expect them to have a second season, but it's good because they're going to take another route, kind of. So, it's good. You can just watch. It's fine to watch the first season because you won't be left like, oh no, I need to know what's gonna happen. So that's good. So yeah. The other one was Norn 9, Norn plus Nonet. That was one of the Bishonen shows.
All of the 9s in the title.
Yeah. That one was alright. I'm not gonna say too much about this. It was a typical Bishonen visual novel kind of show that probably didn't adapt everything as good as they could have done.
Did you play it before?
No, that's the thing. Like, I'm not sure if it's available actually in English, but I would like to play it. Seeing the show, I actually want to play it now, so I guess that's a good thing. And I guess that's kind of the point of it as well, to let people play the game. But it was good. The characters were interesting, though. That's something that I really liked about the show. It's just the story that I have a problem with, because it probably took like 1 and 2 routes, and it was like confusing, and I was like, I don't know what's happening. So they also had the whole thing like with Dimension W, that they dropped all of the info at the end, and I was like, okay. So yeah, that's Norn 9. And then the last one is Mobile Suit Gundam Iron-Blooded Orphans, which also has a 2nd season announced. And that one was surprising for me, because I usually don't like mecha shows. But I was like, I'm gonna check this one, because it seems like there's gonna be feels and tragic stuff happening, and that's exactly what happened. So it was a nice show. I liked a lot of the characters. I do have a problem with the main character, Mikazuki, but the other ones are all pretty cool. Feels, I'm not gonna say a lot of feels, but there were some feels in the show, but there's also a point in the show where I was like, I don't care what happens to these people, I know something tragic is gonna happen.
Moderate amount of feels.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I am going to check out the 2nd season, because the characters that I do care about are in the show still. So I'm just kind of curious what is going to happen. And for this one being my first like serious Gundam show, I feel like it was a good one. Although a lot of people who like Gundam didn't like this show. So I guess it's good that I'm checking this one out first, and maybe afterwards I can check out the best Gundam shows and kind of compare why this one would be bad. So yeah, that is it for the anime.
It's probably already a really, really long episode, so it's fine. We got a lot of this.
It's an hour. Yay.
Okay, so next time we're gonna talk about
video games.
Video games. We got a lot of people asking us what kind of stuff we play, and we haven't talked about games that we play in super long. So we're gonna do that next time.
Yeah, so you can look forward to that, and we hope we can see you then. And feel free to leave your thoughts about the season as well in there. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and we will see you next time. Bye.